You're listening to the Chad Hasty Show on demand. Good for you. Now download the KFYO app and listen live weekday afternoons 5 to 7 p.m. Central.
Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is the Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
Good evening, Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, Wichita Falls, Midland, Odessa, Dallas, Fort Worth, down in Houston, over in El Paso, and anywhere else inside or outside the great state of Texas, wherever you may be listening. Welcome in to the Chad Hasty Show. Glad to have you with us. Glad to be back in studio after, well, a little bit of time off, a little bit of a vacation. Nice little relax, reset, and get ready to go for the final push to Election Day. 62 days away from Election Day, and oh boy, we're seeing some different movement out there. We're seeing the maybe the momentum for Kamala Harris starting to shift a little bit. The news media seems to be a little bit frazzled that Kamala Harris didn't get a huge bump from the convention, and that her numbers are not really soaring in the swing states. Now, she still does lead in some swing states, but she's also come back down to earth on many of these polls. And still, in some of the most accurate polls that we've seen in the last two presidential election cycles, Trump is still leading when it comes to the Electoral College. So we will get into that today on the program. Get your thoughts. I want to hear from you today, your thoughts going into we're not far away from the debate. The debate, if Kamala Harris decides to stick with the debate, is scheduled for Tuesday, September 10th. And if you're in Lubbock, we will have a KFYO debate watch party that evening over at Premier Cinemas at the South Plains Mall, where we'll be gathering together. Doors open at 7. The debate starts at 8 p.m. As always, it's absolutely free, and it's being sponsored by our great friends over at Williams Brake, Tune, and Tire, and the Knife Guys as well. So that way you don't have to pay for it. You can just walk in, and they may ask you to get a ticket. They may not ask you to get a ticket. There's no assigned seating, but they may ask you still to get a ticket to go in. But it won't cost you a dime. Won't cost you anything at all to get in and watch with us and boo and clap and get excited and boo a little bit more whenever Kamala Harris says something that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So we've got all of that to get into. We also have a school shooting today that the Democrats are really, really pumping up as something that we need to talk about as a nation with gun violence in schools. We've got to talk about how Biden's already out saying that that this is something that Republicans and Democrats must tackle. They're trying to switch gears on everybody and go into the anti-gun mode for the Democrats, which again, sometimes the nation does get a little wobbly when it comes to the Second Amendment after a school shooting. Sometimes they don't. We'll see how this one plays out. We'll talk about the latest details of what we know about the school shooting as we continue. And you have Ken Paxton suing Texas County out there. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Americans voting in American elections and only Americans voting in American elections. We've got that, and then the Lubbock City Council we've got some budget news that we'll get into as well. So, packed show today. A lot to talk about. We want to hear from you as well. You can text in on any of the topics that you'd like to get into. Want to also get just your overall thoughts on the current state of the election. What are you thinking as we are now 62 days away from Election Day? How you feeling about this election? What do you think's going on out there? You can text in at 806-680-2790. Again, that's 806-680-2790. When you do text in, be sure to give us your name and where you're listening from. That way we can give you a proper shout out. You can also give us a call at any time, 1-800-687-0790. That's 1-800-687-0790. The first voice you hear from when you dial in today, Nick, the very first voice. And I actually got to see Nick a little bit earlier today as he was giving away his bad candy that he did not want. He actually stepped foot in my office and went, "You want any of this stuff?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's this thing that I call advertising.
Yeah.
Little free samples. Kind of, it draws the suckers in.
Right.
To say, hey, look what you could have.
Yes.
And then you hook them.
Yeah.
And they keep coming back. I wanted to ask you. You went on this great trip.
Yes.
Great cruise.
Went on a fantastic vacation. Yes.
The Bahamas.
Yeah.
I hear.
Went to the Bahamas. Went to Key West.
Nice.
And yeah.
What was your favorite destination that you visited?
Oh, that's a good one. Really, I got to say, I really enjoyed Nassau. Went to the Great Cliff Cigar Factory there. Got to participate in some of that. Saw some beautiful beaches in Nassau. Had some great food, great seafood, and so it was just, that was overall that was fun. Key West was great.
Did you have key lime pie?
Did have some key lime pie, yes, of course, yes.
Nice.
And when in Rome,
right,
course, yeah. Did have some key lime pie, but let me tell you something about Key West: unbearably hot and humid. There were medical emergencies on board the ship.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Now I was shocked that there were not medical emergencies in Key West.
Yeah.
That day because they had like 4 days of rain. So humidity just off the charts, and it was probably about 98 degrees.
That sounds about right.
When we got to port, it was just already hot. If you were on the beach, felt great. There's nothing bad. We went, had lunch, had went to a great little hotel restaurant that had a place on the beach and a little restaurant on the beach. It had a lobster pizza, which was
lobster pizza.
Fantastic. Yes.
I'm not big into seafood.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then great conch fritters had that. Those were very good.
Is. Okay.
It's something from the sea, fried up for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And so those were fantastic. And then you would you drove into Key West, like away from any of the coastal area of Key West. And it just got unbearably hot and humid. And we had a golf cart. We were driving around, and it was just Key West. If you were on the coast, if you were on a beach, it was great. In town, people were just complaining about how hot it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't stay there long though, right? Because then you had to get on the ship and you had to mosey on to your.
We got there thinking about 9 o'clock or so, and had to be back on the big ship at about 6, and so we mosey on from there and went to the Bahamas.
So you mentioned your lobster pizza.
Yeah.
And whatever you said, whatever weird dish from the sea.
Sure.
After that, what was your favorite food item that you had there?
Oh, definitely the lobsters.
Really?
Yeah.
The lobsters or the lobster pizza?
Had numerous lobsters. Ooh. Yes. There was. We had a lobster night on the ship, and it was just bring me your lobster tails. Bring me the lobster tail. Hot butter.
Oof.
Oh, the hot butter being poured over the lobster tail, and then you took a little bit of the hot butter and you put it in the mashed potatoes that came with it.
I don't even like lobster, but that sounds good.
And let me tell you, It was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was very good. Let's see, texter Adam. As a cruiser, I know about the food. How much weight did you gain? We did a lot of walking on this, and we didn't just hang out at the buffet the entire time. So actually, I don't feel like I know I probably gained a couple of pounds, but nothing bad. We didn't overeat. We kind of took it easy on that, and we ate. It was a whole bunch of seafood. There's a whole bunch of seafood, and that we had, which was great. Maybe a late night pizza. Maybe one of the late night pizza after the casino. My wife, by the way, Nick, you'll like this. We did a little not deep sea fishing, but about 30 minutes out from Galveston. We went fishing in the Gulf, and she was lucky. She caught a shark. She caught a shark. My father-in-law caught a shark. One guy caught like a huge stingray. And you had to they brought the stingray, and there was a fight. It was a battle. And once they brought the stingray on board, you had the deckhand go over with a knife and cut off the little rod there from the stingray. The little puncher.
Yeah. Did you get to keep the shark? Or what did you do with the sharks?
We could. The sharks, I think other people wanted to take them up. So, or maybe they got thrown back. I can't remember. But it was pretty good.
I would imagine either your wife is the Hulk, or
it wasn't a huge shark.
I was going to say, I'm guessing these are those small little, not the reef sharks, but even smaller. Like the size of your arm, maybe just like small little.
This was bigger than the size of really? Let me see. Let me see if I can find a picture for you. Real quick here of the giant beast.
We'll describe it on air.
Yeah, I think so. So here you go. This is. Little shark.
Oh, okay. So it's like a little hammerhead.
It's like a little hammerhead shark.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
But that's impressive. I see your wife is very happy with her
she was
catch.
very excited about that. Now, my father-in-law, he caught that shark.
Oof, that is much bigger.
That's a much bigger shark.
That is just about over half the size of your father-in-law.
Yeah.
Impressive. Very impressive.
That could take a chunk out of you.
if a child hooked that, they'd be gone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was fun.
No sharks for you though.
No sharks for me. I caught other fish. There were other fish in the sea. Yeah, I didn't catch a shark. But my wife also, she caught COVID. So that was fun.
2 for 1. Catch a shark, catch COVID.
She caught a shark, and then last night, test positive COVID.
What
Bam.
a deal!
Yeah, wow. This is great. I think it was easier to catch COVID. Maybe I don't know. I didn't catch it. I'm good. Everyone else we went
try harder next time, I guess. I
guess so. Yeah, I didn't catch a shark. I didn't catch COVID. But So she's doing well. She's very tired. But other than that, just exhausted. Had some of the body pains, all that. But today she's like, I'm just exhausted. She's just exhausted from catching the shark and the COVID. Maybe the shark gave her COVID somehow. I don't know. COVID of the seas. I don't know if that's even possible. 1-800-687-0790. When we come back, your phone calls, your text, and much more.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, Chad Hasty.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page at KFYO.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton show will be joined by Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn as we sit just 5 days away from the Trump-Kamala debate. What's the absolute latest on the polls as 61 days until the election dawns? We will discuss Clay Travis Buck Sexton show come hang with us, Thursday edition.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
All right, back on the Chad HD Show. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Glad to be back with you. And we're already halfway through the work week. You gotta love that. Paul weighing in on the text line. There's going to be more distractions. They're going to keep getting bigger. Anything to keep Trump out. Glad you had a good time. And from Paul, thank you, Tom. Thank you for tuning in and sending in the text out there, Paul. Appreciate that. Let's see. Pat from Lawton, I feel good. Kamala's running out of steam. Less joys. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot of joy. When I left here, there was a lot of joy from the Kamala Harris campaign and Tim Walz. I got back. There doesn't seem to be as much joy. There seems to be still a lot of avoidance of the media. Let's see, another text from Charlie. Glad you're back. Quick comment and a question. When liberal Shark Tank minority owner Mark Cuban put his poll on X to see if folks want their kids to learn from et cetera, et cetera. You answer with Harris or Trump. Did you hear the results? I believe that Americans are at and believe the November 5th results will be 69 to 70% Trump, 30% Harris. My question is, did you go to the luncheon today to listen to Jody Arrington? I did not get to go to the luncheon today. I really wanted to. It's the day after I get back from a trip. It's just so busy catching up on emails and catching up on news. Because when I go on vacation, especially one of these longer vacations that where I truly do unplug, and I do not pay attention to politics, even though there were times where I had more access to the internet than I thought I would, just due to some of the different ports and everything. But I stayed away from the politics. I stayed away from the political news of the day and just really unplugged from it all. And just to do a reset and to just enjoy time with family and enjoy the world. And so the day after, really the 2 days after I get back from a major vacation, it is spent doing a lot of reading. I had over, let me look at my emails. In my work email, Nick, how many emails do you think I have in my inbox right now? Just because I have not gone through all of them, obviously. 40 emails? That 40, like, do you mean 4,000 emails or 40 emails? 40. No. 10,000 emails in my, that's what, when people email me, my outgoing messages, you're going to have to text me back, because you're going to have to text or email me the day I get back, because it's going to take a while to get through. And most of them, 90%, is stuff that I will never read and applies to nothing to do with this show whatsoever. But that's my day, basically. When I get, it's a catch up day. You got to get caught up with everything. 806-680-2790. You can send in your thoughts on the text line, 806-680-2790. Kamala Harris now mom on reparations that she signaled support for the 2020 White House run. Well, of course, and I'm sure she'll, if ever asked about it, which she probably won't be, but if she ever is asked about it, she'll come out on the other side now. Harris now mum on the reparations issue. Harris's campaign did not clarify with Fox where she stands as of today. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign did not reveal her position on reparations for black Americans when asked Wednesday by Fox News, despite growing anticipation from progressive advocates after the California lawmaker withdrew their reparations bills last week. During her earlier presidential run in 2019, Harris, then a U.S. Senator representing California, said she supported, quote, some form of reparations and backed legislation to study the matter further. Democrat politicians in blue states, including California, in recent years have floated reparations as a way to atone for what proponents describe as a legacy of racist policies that created disparities for black people in housing, education, and health. Quote, I think there has to be some form of reparations. We could discuss what that is, but look, we're looking at more than 200 years of slavery, Harris said in a 2019 interview with The Root. When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages, and much more on the Chad Hasty Show.
The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up, it's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I envisioned a whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Chance Wilcox lived his life with a kind heart, and anyone would tell you that. But I'll never forget the call that my only son, with so much life ahead of him, had been killed instantly by a distracted driver on her cell phone. The happiness we all had and enjoyed up until that time was gone in 1 second by a 100% preventable action.
Heads up, Texas. Using your phone behind the wheel can be deadly. Talk, text, crash. Brought to you by TxDOT.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. You're listening to The Chad Hasty Show.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Appreciate you tuning in today. You can send in your thoughts on the text line at 806-680-2790. Again, that's 806-680-2790. You can weigh in on any of the topics that we've gotten into today. You can also, of course, weigh in on any just your overall feelings when it comes to the current state of the race between Trump and Harris. What are you thinking as we get closer and closer to the upcoming debate? Story out of the New York Post. These pollsters were right in 2016 and 2020, and they think Harris has already lost her mojo. Most polls show the vice president leading in swing states that will decide the election, but 2 southern state pollsters are bucking the trend, said they've got former President Donald Trump up big. The polling by Insider Advantage and Trafalgar in 7 battleground states finds Trump on a path to 296 electoral votes, suggesting that Harris has already lost her momentum. Matt Towery of Georgia-based Insider Advantage found Trump ahead in Arizona, Nevada, and North Carolina, down by only 0.4% in Georgia. He noted that both he and Robert Calley, which handled Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, were both in the top 3 pollsters in 2016 and 2020 cycles because of how they conduct their polls. It allows them to pick up some Trump vote that other pollsters might not be able to get. To be sure, all of Trump's leads are narrow and within the margin of error, meaning states could still very well go either way on Election Day. But Towery believes that Harris is stalling now that her novelty has worn off. Quote, the momentum that we were seeing after the Democrat National Convention has sort of come to an end. Surges in Democrat enthusiasm seen in polls after Harris replaced Biden have also slowed and are now close to parity. The turnout election will be shaped heavily by next week's make-or-break presidential debate, he believes. And I believe this as well. And I said so before I went on vacation that I believe that the upcoming debate on Tuesday, and this is why I think you're starting to see some movement from the Harris camp where they may not want to do the debate. Now, we're still acting as though there's going to be a debate. And there probably will be. But you see in the news media where Harris and her campaign are still trying to, negotiate some of the rules. You see, Kamala Harris does not want the microphone turned off when she's not speaking. She wants to be able to have a kind of a gotcha moment on Trump. So she's trying to negotiate all of this while we're just days away from the first presidential debate. I really think that there's part of the Harris campaign that wants to pull out. They don't want to have this debate. They don't want Kamala Harris to be able to have to answer questions without a teleprompter. Now, remember this. The news media and ABC News, they're going to do everything they can do to help out Kamala Harris. When it comes to this debate on Tuesday, they're going to do everything they can do to help out Kamala and to make Trump look bad. So Trump is going to have to really work hard to make Kamala Harris look bad. Because the news media, they're going to try, and the debate moderators will absolutely be trying to bail her out at any point. And this will look remarkably different than what we saw in the debate between Trump and Biden. In the Trump-Biden debate, the moderators never came to Biden's defense. They never helped him out. They made him look bad. They just never rescued the guy. This will look very different. ABC News will do everything they can do to make Kamala look good. And so if you're Trump, you've got to make Kamala look bad. You've got to point out her flaws. You've got to point out her policies. You've got to point out where she was in 2020. Trump is going to have to be at least somewhat disciplined in this debate. And if he can be somewhat, not fully, but somewhat disciplined and be able to expose Kamala Harris for who she is and to get her where she's not feeling comfortable, get her into her little laughing mode or when she's not able to answer a question, if he's able to do that, I think Trump can really seal a victory on Tuesday, or at least come close to it. He can really stop any type of momentum that Kamala Harris continues to have. CNN came out with some of their numbers earlier today showing that this race that was swinging in Kamala Harris's direction, the momentum is starting to die off. And it's as we predicted right after Labor Day that this would become a race again. That Kamala Harris was going to have a few good weeks, and she had some great weeks. But now people are starting to pay attention. Now people are starting to realize that Kamala Harris can't do an interview. She can't sit down for an interview that isn't edited. Not even an interview that is not edited by her good friends. She can't come across in an interview very well at all. And she's got to have Tim Walz standing next to her. Why? Why is that? It's because she really doesn't know a whole lot. And she's not very good in these type of settings. Now, you put her in front of a teleprompter, and she's pretty good. She can read. I applaud Kamala Harris for being able to read. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing that Kamala Harris can read. But when Kamala Harris doesn't have a teleprompter in front of her, it doesn't have Tim Walz standing next to her, then what? How is she really going to do when she has to go face-to-face with Trump? And Trump, who is able, but people forget about this. Trump was able to take out very experienced debaters. A whole lot of people, they don't give Trump a lot of credit for his debating skills, but he was able to take out Hillary Clinton, who was a pretty good debater. You know? I mean, she was a pretty good debater. She lied, but she was very well skilled. She was a lifelong politician. She knew what she was doing. He was able to take out Jeb Bush. He was able to take out the Republican establishment. So Donald Trump, he was able to take out Joe Biden. Well, with help from the Democrats, too, he was able to help take out Joe. But Donald Trump can hold his own in a debate. So I've got no worry whatsoever on that. I want him to stay at least a little bit on topic. That's what I need from Trump. That's what I think Trump needs to do, is come out and just hammer Kamala Harris on her policies and the fact that she's been the vice president. A lot of people tend to forget she's been the vice president of the United States. You know, she comes out and says, oh, we need to fix the economy. Where the hell have you been? Oh, we need to fix the border. Oh, we need to fix this. Oh, we need to fix that. Where have you been? You have been the vice president. The news media won't ask her about this. So Donald Trump will have to act as part moderator, part candidate on this stage. And if he can do that, if he can get what Texture says all he has to do is get her to laugh one time. It may take a little bit more than that, but not a lot more. If he can get Kamala to where she just doesn't come across as polished and that she doesn't come across as very bright, it very well could be the beginning of the end for Kamala Harris in this just unbelievable ride that she has been on, this unicorn of a ride that she has been on. And so a lot comes down to Tuesday. A lot really does come down to Tuesday. If Trump somehow stumbles badly, it does not look good in the debate, which I don't anticipate, then this is going to be a real race going to the end. 806-680-2790. Texture says the Democrats are convinced they can rig any election. Another text, all he has to do is get her to laugh one time. Let's see. Chad, why cuss on the air? You said the big H, Hillary. Yeah, that's true. I apologize. Dirty language being used on the air. 806-680-2790. When we come back, your phone calls, your text, and more.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock, News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton show will be joined by Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn as we sit just 5 days away from the Trump-Kamala debate. What's the absolute latest on the polls as 61 days until the election dawns? We will discuss Clay Travis Buck Sexton show. Come hang with us, Thursday edition.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
Back on the Chad HD Show. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Happy Wednesday. Elizabeth weighing in, saying, welcome back. Just tuned in. Is Kamala on her way out? I think it's a possibility that would pave the way for Michelle. I think they've probably already got mail-in ballots with their name written on them. Shaking my head. I don't see that happening. I don't see Kamala being thrown out. They're gonna. I think they're gonna stick with Kamala Harris through thick or thin. But there's still gonna be dirty tricks. We know that. There's gonna be some dirty tricks out there. We know that. Kamala Harris is still going to enjoy the love of the news media, no matter what happens on Tuesday. The news media will still be fawning over Kamala Harris. At least for the most part, they will be. So that's to be expected. But I really do think that Trump has a chance to expose Kamala Harris for who she is as a far left communist who wants to do great harm to this country. Kamala Harris she can lie all she wants to. And try to make herself sound like a moderate. That's what she's trying to do these days is reimagine herself, reintroduce herself to the American people. And by and large, people forget about her positions. They have forgotten about Kamala Harris's positions back in 2019 and 2020, and definitely from before that, they have forgotten who Kamala Harris even was. I mean, most people don't pay attention every single day to the world of politics. We've talked about this numerous times, that most people are not as engaged as you are, as I am, as others are, who watch this stuff all the time. Most people don't do that. Most people are paying attention to other stuff, other things that are good that's going out there. They're paying attention to. They know each contestant on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I can't tell you anybody who's appeared on The Bachelor or Bachelorette. I can't tell you anything about what's happening with the Kardashians. I have got no idea what's going on. But a lot of people can tell you. A lot of people can. And a lot of people who get their news from Facebook and a lot of people who get their news from TikTok, and they start paying attention late in the game. They don't know Kamala Harris's history. So they look at what Kamala Harris is, or they listen to how Kamala Harris is trying to position herself now. And she's trying to position herself as a moderate. She's trying to position herself as someone who can bring the country together when, really, if you pay attention to any of Kamala Harris's past statements, she's never been about bringing the country together. She has always been about division in this country and being someone who is on the very far left of things. So if Trump can expose that, if he can do that, even for a little bit on Tuesday, it's going to be a very, very big deal. Another texter saying that Kamala will put her foot in her mouth, and it's very true. She could do that. She can absolutely do it. Don't forget, for those of you in Lubbock, we will have a debate watch party over at Premier Cinemas like we have in the past. There's going to be a different candidate on the stage, but we will have a presidential debate watch party between Trump and Kamala Harris. It's going to be on Tuesday, September 10th 7 p.m., that's when the doors open. 8 p.m., that's when the debate starts. It's an absolutely free debate, free for you to attend. You may have to get a ticket on your way in. You may not have to, but we advise you to get there early because the theater that we got last time, I think this theater is supposed to be, if not the same size, maybe a little bit larger. Not sure, but it's not going to be that much bigger. So if you were late to the debate watch party last time, or if you were showed up close to 8 p.m., you knew that it was tough to find a seat. At least in the main part of the auditorium. We did bring in some chairs, and we'll be able to do that this time. But if you want to guarantee yourself a seat, get there early. Make sure you get there early. Go and get your popcorn, your drinks, all that kind of good stuff, and join us on September 10th. 7 p.m. doors open. The debate starts at 8, and it's being brought to you. That's why it's free. It's being brought to you by our friends over at the Knife Guys in Williams Brake Tune and Tire in Lubbock. Great people. When we come back, Lubbock City Council making news when it comes to the budget. Get ready to pay more in taxes. We'll be right back.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media. Broadcasting from the great state of Texas, this is the Chad Hasty Show. News and views with a Lone Star perspective. You can sound off during the show by sending Chad a text at 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Or call in at 1-800-687-0790. Now, here's Chad Hasty.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Final hour of the program. You can text in at 806-680-2790. Again, that's 806-680-2790. You can also follow me on social media. That includes the X, Instagram, and other places at Chad Hasty Radio. On social media. That's where the fun always continues on social media. All right, let's see. Got a few texts that we'll get to. Also, this big major headline, and some of you, you're going to be shocked by this. Liz Cheney says now she's going to vote for Kamala Harris. Liz Cheney, who, by the way, Liz Cheney, who back in 2020 said this: Kamala Harris is a radical liberal who would raise taxes, take away guns and health insurance, and explode the size and power of the federal government. She wants to recreate America, the image of what's happening on the streets of Portland and Seattle. That was Liz Cheney back on August 11th of 2020. Now, Liz Cheney supports those things, I guess, because she's going to vote for Kamala Harris. Yeah. Liz Cheney said, quote, as a conservative, as someone who believes in and cares about the Constitution, I have thought deeply about this. And because of the danger that Donald Trump poses, not only am I not voting for Donald Trump, but I will be voting for Kamala Harris, the former Wyoming congresswoman said Wednesday, noting the importance of voting for Harris in the battleground states like North Carolina. Cheney previously said she's committed to doing what's necessary to stop the former president from winning the White House. So Liz Cheney voting for Kamala Harris, and I guess now supports taking away your guns and everything else that Kamala Harris supports. Very, very, very drastic change for Liz Cheney from 4 years ago. 806-680-2790. David on the app chat weighing in and asking Chad last. I remember it's been a while since you've had a Dr. Pepper. Did you fall off the wagon during the cruise? I did not. No, it's now been about 2 months since I've had a Dr. Pepper. Now I have had a Dr. Pepper zero sugar. I did have one of those, but no, I have not had the full strength Dr. Pepper. No, did not. I was very successful at staying away from those on the cruise ship, and they were everywhere. We had drink packages and all that kind of stuff. They were there. They were available, but no. Stayed away from them. 806-680-2790. Nick, it was interesting. You never know where you're going to meet people. You never know. You think the world's this big place, right? You think the world's this great big place, but you come into contact with so many people. We were on this ship, a ship of like 4,000 or 5,000 people, right? And I'm sitting there having a drink, as I do, enjoying the pool on I think it was the last day of the cruise, and everyone's just kind of sitting around talking. And people, hey, where are you from? What do you do? Just all that kind of good stuff. There's a little chatter, a little chit chat among people, and true story. Guy keeps looking over at me. He's like, "Hey, where did you say you were from?" And I said, "Lubbock, Texas." Yeah, Lubbock, Texas. He's like, "I'm from Abilene. Are you Chad Hasty?" So I want to give a shout out to my friend Robert. Robert in Abilene. I think he's made it back by now, probably at work. And listener of the show. He and his wife, listeners of the program, and got to me just randomly going, "Hey, are you that person?" And it's pretty cool. Again, it's a small world, and you never know when you're going to run into new friends and neighbors, if you will. So we had a great conversation, and there were quite a few. By the way, quite a few Trump hats that I saw on the cruise as well. There did not see any Kamala Harris gear. Did not, the little Kamala Harris hunter hats that she had made up. The camo Kamala Harris hats. Did not see any of those on the cruise ship. Did see a few of the Trump hats out there on the cruise ship. 806-680-2790. Thanks again, by the way. I want to thank Steve Evans again for filling in while I was out, and thanks to all the listeners who sent emails and all that kind of good stuff, checking in and let me know how everything was going. And then, of course, it's always good to have Steve. Always good to have Steve, who likes to fill in and hang out and do the show and bring a little ADD radio at times. Did he do a lot of ADD radio, Nick? Was Steve like just kind of all over the place at times?
I got to give him credit. He had some days where, he had his, as he calls it, his squirrel days or days. His, distracted.
Okay.
Where he gets off on tangents. But no, I'd say there were a good number of shows where he had it together.
Yeah.
He had everything planned. He had some topics and everything, and so I
like the squirrel shows. I like the squirrel shows.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah,
because you never know.
You just never. You have no idea. Sometimes he does it.
Exactly.
Just squirrel, boom, and you change topics.
He has a fun little noise that he likes to play too.
Oh, does he?
Oh yeah, a little squirrel noise.
Oh,
and I think he pitched it up, so it's this high pitched little squirrel, and it's really short. And he likes to play that every once in a while.
I like that.
You know what's really fun? He likes to do that when we're off air, and it's just us. And he gets me. He gets me on that every once in a while.
Yeah.
He thinks it's very funny. So,
By the way, it's been 14 days since I've seen you.
Yeah.
The beard is looking good.
So
it's looking good.
I have a wedding to go to in a month.
Yeah.
And I gotta do something. I gotta do.
You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it.
Well, I'm not gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it's getting very spindly.
I don't know what that means.
It very unkempt.
Okay.
Very. I need to trim it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I got some Medusa curls going on.
Okay.
Down there, but it's this is.
There are professionals who can help you out with that, or you can do it yourself.
I'm not going to do it myself.
Okay.
This is 14 days of completely nothing.
Yeah.
So
I think it looks good. It's coming in very nicely.
A little bit. Yeah. Give me 14 more days, and we'll
we'll see.
We'll talk.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you a place. You can stop by Regiment. They'll give you a little cut.
Okay.
Little cut there.
I'll keep that in
mind. And shape the beard for you and everything.
You want me to do it myself in my bathroom with
you could
$10 pair of
you could
shears.
But for the wedding, I'm sure they'd appreciate it if you if you now you're not in the wedding.
I'm not in the wedding, and it is not my wedding.
Right.
Also, I just want to clarify this.
Yeah.
It is not my wedding. It is a friend's wedding.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't really matter how you look.
Exactly. I could just be a bum.
They're not going to remember you at all.
I'm not I'm not in the wedding party. I don't have a role. I'm the afterthought. Oh yeah. Let's invite this guy.
Yeah. It doesn't. Let me tell you.
Right.
Just go like that.
Yeah,
don't even
go like this.
Yeah, because they're not going to remember you.
Sweater and all.
Yeah. They're not going to remember you being there.
Yeah.
They're
I'll
not
sit in the
gonna,
back.
They're not going to remember. They're definitely not going to remember what you looked like.
Yeah. Well, it has been about 10 years since the groom and I have seen each other.
Yeah.
So it is going to be
and you're still going to the wedding.
He invited me. I was a little surprised.
Yeah. 10 years since you've seen him, you're still going. You're flying somewhere for the wedding. That's like, are y'all good friends?
We used to be best friends. We used to be. It was the two of us. We went to everywhere together. We did everything together. We were the best friends in middle school up until about high school. So it's a little weird. People are growing up. People are getting married now all of a sudden. All my friends from from high school and beyond that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's an odd thing.
Do you talk to this person on a semi-regular basis?
The last time we spoke, was 2 years.
Okay, I want to go.
And before then, it was about 6 years that we spoke to each other.
No, I want to go. I would not be going to this wedding. I would not be spending the money to be going to this wedding.
Life is short,
It doesn't exactly. There's stuff to do. Life is short. There are better things to do than go hang out at a wedding where you're a former best friend of yours that you haven't spoken to. Let's be honest, in 8 years. That you haven't spoken to in 8 years.
I haven't seen him in 8 years. We texted, and that was the last time was a few months ago when he invited me, and then before then, years. 2-3 years since we even texted each other.
Okay, so I would say no. That's just that. This is a present grab. That's all this is. It is a gift grab.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't get anything then. Would that stir anything?
No, I would say you don't even show up.
Yeah.
Just be like, congratulations. I wish I could make it.
Yeah.
But it's football season.
And we haven't spoken in almost 10 years. I think I'm going to skip on this one.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is on a Saturday?
It is a Saturday, yeah.
So they're getting married on a Saturday during college football season. Now, I don't know about you, Nick. You may not be the biggest college football fan.
That's an accurate statement.
But I'm sitting here, if this were me, okay, it's a guy that I knew in high school, all right, that I hadn't spoken to in years, and I'm going to say even 2 years.
Sure.
2 to 3 years, said, hey, I'm going to get married on a football Saturday in October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
With college football season. Why don't you fly somewhere, come to my wedding, give me something nice. We're registered, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you can fly back home.
Well, you know what?
You want me to be like a groomsman? No. I just want you to show up. Just show up during life is short. Enjoy a brisket at home. Enjoy TV instead of how many hours are you probably going to spend at this wedding and reception?
I don't know. I mean, if we're flying up there, my fiance's coming with me.
Yeah.
If we're flying up there, then I'd like to spend as much time as I can. I'm not just going to fly up there for an hour and then fly right back. I have all of Saturday up there, so I want to I want to spend it spend it there. Hey, you know what the good thing though is?
Yeah. Are the Packers playing at least? You can go to Lambeau and see the Packers play.
We're not going to go to Lambeau Field.
Of course.
He used to be. So growing up, he was really big. He loved the Vikings. The Vikings were his team. He loved them. I remember one year for his birthday, his parents saved up and took him to a game, and that was the best year of his life. I don't know if he's still a big fan.
They play on Sunday.
I was going to say, judging by how he's having a weekend wedding, I don't know if he's still a big fan of. Well, then again, I don't even know. I don't even know. When did the Vikings even play?
They would be playing on a Sunday or a Sunday or a Monday
if they're even playing. Right. So and I don't know. So we'll just have to see.
No, this is a horrible thing that he has done. Now,
I should be offended, is what you're saying.
My wife and I, we got married. Yeah. It was game one. Game one, Labor Day weekend. Texas Tech was playing, but it was against let's say an Abilene Christian. How could an Abilene Christian even stand up to a mighty Texas Tech? That would never happen.
Yeah.
So we got married Labor Day weekend. We got married. Started the college football season, and I already caught hell from that. But it's like this is the weekend. We're doing it. You're not missing any game. That's a major game. In October, you're missing major college football games.
So
to go to a wedding from a guy you haven't seen in 8 years.
So you planned your wedding.
I'm offended.
Around the sports calendar is what you're saying?
I think sports fans will absolutely do that. Yes.
Well, maybe there won't be many sports fans at this wedding.
I guess
you never know. Clearly.
At least if it's been 8 years. Mark in California, it's a gift grab. Going to the wedding is gift enough. I've done that.
My presence is a gift enough.
It is more than enough at this point for someone who you haven't seen in 8 years.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not like we were just like we bumped into each other and we knew each other vaguely from like 8-10 years ago. This is like we almost lived half of our childhood together. So we're very close.
Then you didn't talk for years.
Exactly. And then I moved to Texas.
Right.
And he stayed in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And
how many years do you think you went between just talking?
Oh, 6.
Okay.
Probably.
No, I'm not going to the wedding. No, forget it. No, I'm not going to the wedding. I'm not saying the friendship's over. I'm not saying I've moved on from the friendship. Well, we can still Facebook each other. Yeah. I'll like your pictures on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll do that for you, buddy. But I'm not flying to Wisconsin for you on a Saturday.
Do you think it would be different if he asked me to be his best man, which he did not?
Yes,
but
I think it would be a little weird.
Right,
but
that would be weird.
I would say that's worth it.
Okay.
Because at least you're then considered the part of the wedding party,
right.
All that kind of stuff. He's like, okay, that relationship is still there.
Yeah.
This is just a dude at this point. I hate telling you this. I really do. I hate bringing you down on a Wednesday.
If it makes you feel any better, this is not going to change my decision.
I'm
not. Already going.
I know you're going. This is me being outraged for you.
Sure. Well, thank you.
And the listeners are agreeing here with me.
All right.
Is it a destination wedding like Cancun? It's not even Cancun. They're going to Wisconsin.
Rural southeast Wisconsin.
Yeah, they're not even going to Lambeau. This is like middle of nowhere Wisconsin. Is it at least at the Airbnb?
No, it is not at the
Oh my gosh. See?
It's about 45 minutes from the Airbnb. So hey, if we wanted to, we could go visit.
Are you staying with?
I'm staying at the Airbnb.
Okay.
My fiance and I were staying at the Airbnb.
So at least you get to see your family.
Exactly.
For a day.
Little scenic farmland.
Yeah.
Cornfields, Wisconsin.
For not even a day you're going to see them because you're going to the wedding.
Yeah, about a day.
Are they going to the wedding?
My parents?
Yeah.
They are.
They are?
Well, my mom was my teacher, and so she taught me and this guy.
Okay.
Because we were in the same class.
Yeah.
So for years, we that's how we knew each other.
But your dad's not going.
My dad is not going.
Okay.
My dad will be working. Yeah.
Your dad's like, I ain't going to that. He's not working.
He's going to be at home watching the game.
Oh,
is that what you're
he's working. Yeah. Honey, I'd love to go to that. I say, you mean that kid that you taught 20 years ago? That guy? Really? Oh, he's friends with Nick? With Nicholas? No, he hasn't spoken to Nick in 8 years. Oh, God, I wish I could go to that wedding. That sounds like a great time. Oh, I got to work. Oh, man. It's going to be a busy day.
Yeah.
Woo, busy. Got to work. Dang. 806-680-2790. Apparently, you can invite Nick to your wedding, and he'll get you a present. So you have that going for you, everybody. We'll be right back.
The Titan of Texas Talk Radio, Chad Hasty.
Talking with newsmakers and about the issues that matter to you. The Chad Hasty Show, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Chad's show is also digital with the Chad Hasty Show podcast. The Chad Hasty Show podcast can be downloaded on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and the Radio On Demand page at kfyo.com. The Chad Hasty Show, all across Texas during your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton show will be joined by Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn as we sit just 5 days away from the Trump-Kamala debate. What's the absolute latest on the polls as 61 days until the election dawns? We will discuss Clay Travis Buck Sexton show. Come hang with us, Thursday edition.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
All right, back on the Chad Hasty Show. One texter with Rick weighing in. Nick, if you want to have a friend, you have to be a friend. Just saying. So I guess they support you going. Another texter. Chad, welcome back, my man. West Texas missed you. Nick, you should definitely go to the wedding. You might meet the future Miss Sweater there, or at least Miss Sweater for the night. Now, I would... to the texture, I do want to clarify, Nick is engaged, and his fiancée, the future Mrs. Sweater, will be there with him the entire time. So I think the already dubbed future Miss Sweater would be very unhappy if Nick were to meet another future Miss Sweater at the wedding. Now, again, I could be wrong, but I think she'd be pretty mad at him. And, well, we would definitely have a story to get back to when he came back. And that beard would probably be messed up. When we come back, we'll get to the Lubbock City Council and the budget. We'll do that when we return.
Call in to the Chad Hasty Show at 1-800-687-0790. The Chad Hasty Show, broadcasting on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Today's markets from the Texas Department of Ag.
Well, howdy, neighbors. Texas feeder cattle hog reported prices steadied at $10 lower. Cattle futures also down. October live cattle futures down a nickel, closed at $179.22. September feeder cattle futures down $1.75, closed at $239.62. October cotton futures down, closed at $69.89. September wheat futures up 19 cents, closed at $5.85 a bushel. September corn up 4 pennies to close at $3.90. September soybean futures up 9 cents, closed at $10.06 a bushel. September soybean meal futures up $4 and a dime, closed at $323.80 per ton. August Class 3 milk futures were unchanged at $20.62 a hundred. October crude oil futures down $1.47, closed at $68.88 a barrel, and the Dow Jones was up 38 points. Closed at 40,974. And that's a market roundup from the Texas Department of Agriculture. I'm your commissioner, Sid Miller. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters. Sold.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. Chad Hasty, talking the news. at the start, middle, and end of your drive home, and when news breaks. This is The Chad Hasty Show.
All right, welcome back to the Chad Hasty Show. Looks like for those of you in Lubbock, you're going to be paying more when it comes to taxes. The Lubbock City Council meeting, quote, in the middle, according to the headline from the Lubbock AJ, on the budget. The Lubbock City Council adopted on first reading its budget property tax rate for the 2024-25 fiscal year following a number of discussions and votes on competing proposals. Council voted 5-2 to adopt a budget proposal from Councilwoman Jennifer Wilson, along with its supporting property tax rate, which is lower than the initially proposed tax rate, but higher than the no new revenue rate, despite efforts by Mayor Mark McBrayer, who promised citizens he would push for the no new revenue rate this year. McBrayer and Councilman David Glasheen, who each also presented their own version of the budget during the meeting Tuesday, voted against Wilson's proposal. The budget and tax rate will need final approval on a second reading next week. Wilson's $929.7 million proposal, based on the budget initially pitched by the city manager, but with some changes in funding and spending and a lower property tax rate, the budget calls for fewer expenditures than the last two municipal budgets. Atkinson's initial budget included a proposed tax rate of 47.740 cents per $100 property valuation, which would result in an annual property tax increase of about $47 for the average home valued at $222,000. The adopted rate from Wilson's plan is 47.012 cents per $100 valuation, which means it's about $15 more in property taxes for the average home next year. The no new revenue rate was at 46.6749 cents per $100 valuation. The budget plan adopted Tuesday includes funding for a 4% raise for all city employees, 2 new division chiefs for Lubbock Fire Rescue, 3 new firefighters for the fire marshal's office, 3 new police officers, 4 additional civilian police employees. Also gives additional salary increases to the LPD forensics department. The budget also includes $1 million additional dollars for street maintenance, $100,000 to kickstart a potential Go-to-Key library building project, and about $155,000 for a new city website and software. Well, I bet we need that. I bet we need a new website. Wasn't it just a few years ago that the city of Lubbock did a big overhaul on the website? Why do you need to drop another $155,000 on a new city website? That to me doesn't sound like it's really needed. Wilson also added $100,000 for legal and advisory services to begin a meet and confer process with the city's police and fire associations. Under a meet and confer process, city management unions would negotiate pay increases. Proponents say this will help the department arrive at a competitive salary and aid with recruitment and retention. The budget draws $2.1 million in additional revenue from TCOS fees, which are a type of franchise fee charged with power companies that will be transferred from Lubbock Power and Light. Fees initially slated to go into savings. McBraier's failed proposal, which had been refined several times since he first submitted it back in August, would have kept a no new revenue rate using the TCOS fees, increases in estimated sales tax collections, and increased use of reserve funding to offset the decreased property tax revenues. It would have included some of the same additions as Wilson's budget, including adding fire and police personnel, meet and confer, funding for a new website and software, and money for a new Go-to-Key library, but also would have stripped $100,000 from Market Lubbock, the organization largely responsible for tourism and economic development in the city. They would have also added an additional 0.5% raise for police officers and cut funding for the city's Junior Ambassador Program, which sends students to Lubbock's sister cities in Japan every other year for cultural learning opportunities. Again, I think we could have gotten by without $100,000 going to Market Lubbock, and I think we could have gotten by without sending kids to sister cities in Japan. I don't know, maybe for a year or two, we could have gotten by with that. I mean, is that something that we just had to have in the city of Lubbock? If you're going to be smart with other people's money, I think you take a look and go, okay, well, can Market Lubbock survive without the extra $100,000? Are people still going to be coming here if we don't give Market Lubbock $100,000 this year? Are we still going to be able to survive as a city if we're not sending students to Japan? And I think the answer would be yes. We could still survive as a city if we didn't do that. Again, it's not the city's job, in my opinion, to make sure that students understand what's going on in Japan for cultural learning opportunities. It might be nice. It might be something that's fun to do. It might be something to do when you have everything else paid for. It's like, hey, we've got this Junior Ambassador Program. Things are going great. We're able to send kids to Japan for a little bit. They're able to, learn about other cultures. It's great. But again, this is the difference between how some look at their own personal budgets and how some people look at just the budget of a city. If you're coming up with a budget for your household, and times are tight, and maybe you can't take that trip to Japan, maybe you can't take that extra trip somewhere, then you tighten your belt and you go, you know what? Maybe we'll do that in a couple of years. Maybe we'll go back on vacation in a couple of years. There have been times where people don't get to go on vacation every single year. They've had to tighten their belt and they go, you know what? We can't do all the fun stuff that we used to do because of extra spending over here, or because because of new or additional spending at home that we had to get control of. So we're going to cut back in these other areas. And while some cutbacks have happened, and I do applaud Dr. Wilson for doing some of the cuts that Atkinson did not present in his initial budget, it does seem like we can go a little bit further in this and say, you know what, Market Lubbock, do you really need that $100,000? Is that really what you need right now? Is that something that we've got to have for Lubbock? How would that really hurt Lubbock if we did not give you $100,000? If the $100,000 out of how much are they already budgeted to get? And then when it comes to the Junior Ambassador Program, which I'm sure most people had no idea we had it all. I'm sure they had no idea that there was a Junior Ambassador Program. How does that benefit the city at all? It doesn't. Well, Chad, it benefits the children who get to go, and it's a cultural enrichment. It doesn't benefit the city. It doesn't benefit the city. When most people want you to take care of police and fire, take care of the roads, the Junior Ambassador Program probably takes a backseat to just about everything else. 806-680-2790. That's 806-680-2790. Another texture. Chad, those kids can learn to fundraise just like we wanted the art trail to do. Oh, yeah, they can fundraise. Their parents can send them to Japan. And, they can do that. Why doesn't Market Lubbock, speaking of tourism, if this is all part of a cultural deal, why isn't Market Lubbock paid for the kids to go to Japan? You can have a tourism exchange program where you send some kids to Japan, and Japan will send some kids here, and it's like a tourism exchange program that you can have. 806-680-2790. Again, this is you've got to. I understand that you've got to take care of a growing city, and Lubbock's absolutely a growing city. And I do think there's been mismanagement in the past that is catching up to these councils, and the councils have got to make some pretty bad decisions on a few of these things. We've heard the term before, kicking the can down the road, and there have been councils in the past that have absolutely kicked the can down the road. But it still seems like there could have been more cuts that could have happened, and just for whatever reason did not. 806-680-2790. When we come back, your phone calls, your text, and more.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton.
Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton show will be joined by Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn as we sit just 5 days away from the Trump-Kamala debate. What's the absolute latest on the polls as 61 days until the election dawns? We will discuss Clay Travis Buck Sexton show. Come hang with us, Thursday edition.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, tomorrow morning at 11.
The Chad Hasty Show can be heard all over West Texas, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Tune in on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO in Lubbock, News Talk 940 in Amarillo, News Talk 94.7 and 1470 KYYW in Abilene, and in Wichita Falls on News Talk 96.3 and 1290. The Chad Hasty Show. Make it a part of your drive home, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m.
We've got an update on the debates. Harris now accepting the debate rules, including mics to be muted. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have now both accepted the rules for the first presidential debate in Philadelphia on ABC next week. The network said on Wednesday, including muted mics when the other candidate is speaking. ABC News said in a release that Harris, the Democrat nominee, and Trump have qualified for the debate under the established criteria. Both have accepted the following debate rules. Now, the Trump campaign had already accepted the rules. The Harris campaign, they were fighting back against the debate rule. They did not want the microphones to be released because Kamala Harris, she likes to interrupt. And she also likes to have little gotcha moments. She had one with Mike Pence during the vice presidential debate where Mike Pence had gone over on his speaking time, or there was a back and forth, and she was able to say, "Let me speak." And of course, I am speaking, or something. The Democrats just went crazy over it and went, see, this is her moment, this is her time. And so she wanted that moment again. She's not going to get it. The debate will take place at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. Other rules, ABC News says have been agreed to. No opening statements, no closing statements. Closing statements will be limited to 2 minutes per candidate. Candidates will stand behind podiums for the duration of the debate. Prompts and pre-written notes are not allowed on the stage. No topics or questions will be shared in advance. Yeah, sure. And candidates will not be permitted to ask questions of each other. I hope Trump breaks that one. ABC also said Harris and Trump would be given the opportunity to give 2-minute answers to questions, 2-minute rebuttals, and 1 extra minute for follow-ups, clarifications, or responses. Trump won the coin toss to determine the podium placement in order of the closing statements, ABC said, in a flip that was held virtually on Tuesday. Trump chose to select the order of the statements, offering the last closing statement. Harris selected the right podium on the position of the screen, meaning Trump will be on the left. So there you have that. So there will be a debate on Tuesday. For those of you in Lubbock, don't forget we will have a debate watch party over at Premier Cinemas at the South Plains Mall. That'll happen on Tuesday, September 10th. It'll be absolutely free due to our great sponsors at Williams Brake, Tune, and Tire, and the Knife Guys. And so I advise you to get there early on Tuesday as, the theater will fill up. I have a feeling that the theater will fill up. Get there early. Go get your popcorn. Go get your drinks. Get ready for the debate. And we'll have some fun out at the debate watch party happening on Tuesday, September 10th at Premier Cinemas at the South Plains Mall. Let's see. Text coming in on the app chat. Chad, great to have you back on the program. What do you think? What do you think Harris will, or how do you think Harris will react if Trump brings up some of her past more liberal or communist statements that she has made? Well, she's going to try to get by with trying to flip flop on them. She'll try to get by and say that no, she never said that, she never supported that. That's just a bunch of politics. She'll try to do that, but I think she'll probably fold. She'll probably fumble the ball on that one. If done enough times, I think that it'll really impact her. Okay, tomorrow on Thursday, we'll have our friends over at the West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show joining us at 6 p.m. to preview a few of the high school football games going on in the area. 'Tis the season for that. We'll also get back into the political news of the day, your phone calls, your text. Follow me on social media, including X, at Chad HD Radio. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 5.
The Chad Hasty Show, a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the Chad Hasty Show are not necessarily the views of this station staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.